All right, so now that we have the basic diagram, there's a few other things that we need to do. One of the things that we have to do, you notice I haven't labeled it yet. I haven't given this diagram a name, and I'm not going to right away. The first thing we're going to do is actually write a narrative. Now, I have my style that I prefer. You might have a different style than me, and you would certainly have a different style than anyone, perhaps. The whole idea is that regardless of your style of writing, we all have to have some kind of a method to get the information exactly the same. Different styles, same method to be able to get it. So let's look at these data flows. Data flow means that there's some information there, some data there that comes into the process, the arrow going in, or comes out of the process, the arrow going out. Okay? If the arrow is going out, it's either to record some information or some data, or we can have a dialogue like this, whereas we query the data. When an arrow is coming in, it means that we're either receiving information or we're referencing something and joining it to something else. So, these data flows, I'm going to put a little dot there, a note. Okay? And I'm going to read through it. The way I read through it is perhaps the way I would write it up. If I can read it, if I can say it, I can clearly write it. And if I remember that, I'll never get stuck trying to write it. So for each request from a customer, determine if the product is available. If it is available, if it's not available, I should say, tell the customer that it's not available. If it is available, tell the customer it is available in the quantity they requested and the price of that product. If the customer wishes to buy the product, take the product out of inventory, give the product to the customer, receive the payment from the customer, record the payment, keep track of the payment, keep track of the outlet at which the sale happened, keep track of the salesperson who served the customer as well. Reduce the inventory of the product sold by the quantity that the customer bought. Based on the customer's information, who they are and where they live and so forth, determine if we already have a record of that customer. If we don't have a record of that customer, using that customer information, keep track of the customer. If we do have a record of the customer, ask them if there's any changes they'd like to make, and if so, keep track of those changes. There's a narrative. Now, you might say it differently, you might write it differently, but for every data flow coming in, every data flow departing the process, there must be a statement that defines or describes the task. Do this, right? Get this, find that. Okay? And anybody can do this. If you have fundamentally a sound diagram, and that's the key, have a sound diagram, then you can identify the data flows. In each data flow, you write a statement. Now you can write it in narrative style if you like, or you can just have bullet points. Now the wonderful thing about bullet points is that you don't have to worry about grammar. You don't have to worry about punctuation. You don't have to worry about capitalization on some words. You just make a statement. So it works really, really well. And that then covers off the process. So now we have an event statement. We have a business process diagram. We've identified the process itself. We've identified some objects. In this case, we've identified 5 of them. We've identified some data for each of the objects. If we spend a moment on our button salesperson, we would find some there too. And we found all that. We can go through this process, then write a narrative. Very easy to do. The last thing we do is we give it a name. And the name, we put that right in the middle here, is going to be the name of the process. And the process name always starts with a verb because the process name does something. So it's the opposite of an event statement. Okay, so it always starts with a verb. And we name it by looking from the inside out, not from the outside in. But it's what does the system do? In this case, what the system does is it serves a customer. It serves a customer, or we sell a product, one of those two. So you can either put sell product, or you can put serve the customer. That's how easy the process gets, but it's not over yet, because the next step is to go through this business rules table to find out the business rules that govern the behavior of the data in the process. And this is just a matter of practice, nothing else. We'll go through more of them a little bit later on when we get to the business rules table in a little while.